So you were recently arrested for a DUI in Illinois. How are you going to handle this? How are you going to fight this case? Well, that's obviously a big topic, but there's two main issues that we need to deal with. Let's talk about those right now. Hi, I'm Derek Martin with Driver Defense Team, a DUI law firm here in Chicago. And so when we talk about fighting a DUI, we're talking about two separate issues typically. Now, the first one is the criminal case, just like you would imagine. When you're arrested for a DUI, you can be charged with either a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the circumstances, your background, and things like that. But in either case, it's a criminal offense and it's going to require your appearance in court. In fact, probably multiple court dates. And in court, your attorney, your side is going to receive all the evidence. Typically, that includes videos and police reports and test results and things like that that are going to be reviewed. And then you and your attorney are going to determine how to proceed. In court, you have to be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard for a criminal case. Now, that is an issue that you're going to have to discuss in detail, and it's very fact specific in regards to your case. The second issue is your driver's license. And now that's important for a lot of people, obviously, because if your driver's license is suspended, it can really affect you, your life, your work, and things like that. So that is a secondary issue, but it's an important issue as well. And so whenever you're arrested for DUI, your license is probably going to be suspended. Now, there's different circumstances where that may not be the case, but typically, especially a first-time DUI, you're going to have a license suspension that goes into effect 45 days after the arrest, most of the time. The reason for that is because of the testing. So when you're arrested, an officer is typically going to require or ask that you perform a breathalyzer, a blood test, or a urine test in order to determine your blood alcohol concentration. And if you take that test and you fail, in other words, you're over the legal limit, then your license will typically be suspended for 6 months. If you've refused that testing, then the license will be suspended for a period of 12 months. Now, that's for a first-time DUI. If you've had prior, especially within the last 5 years, you can be looking at a longer suspension. But on the basics, it's either 6 months or 12 months, depending on whether or not you refused or took those tests. And so that is an issue like I talked about, and that is different than the criminal case. Because like I said, in the criminal case, they have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That is not true when it comes to the driver's license suspension. And that's because the Secretary of State here in Illinois considers driving to be a privilege and not a right. And so they can take that away from you pretty much by filling out a piece of paper and submitting it. And so you'll get notice of that, and that's something that your attorney can also fight for you in court. Now, again, it's very dependent upon the facts and what happened, but there is a way to fight that suspension in court. If you get a judge to agree with you, then that suspension can be overturned. And so those are the two main issues we talk about, the criminal case and the driver's license suspension, when we talk about fighting a DUI. And that just scratches the surface. There's obviously so much more to a case like this. So give us a call and we'll discuss it with you. We'll discuss your particular situation, what happened, your background, what courthouse you're in, and how we can help you with this case. We also quote you a price to represent you right over the phone. So give us a ring or send us a message and we will discuss this with you. But I hope that this was able to at least point you in the right direction and help you understand what you're up against. Thank you for watching.